What is going on, guys? Snickel here, and today I have another trophy talk for you. This is going to be for the week of June 6th, 2021, and I want to apologize for this not being out for a few weeks now. I've really only been making progress towards one game, and as you guys know, I really don't like making these trophy talks if I'm really only making progress towards one game where I'm doing, like minimal amount. It's not minimal amount of work because it was a decent amount of time, but I was also doing a lot of work. I was doing a lot of overtime at work, and I was not really playing games too much. So again, I really don't like making these trophy talks if I don't really make a lot of progress towards a game, or towards games, I should say, because then I feel like this will be like a 5-minute video of like, hey, I did this week. All right, I'll catch you guys later. But no, I did do progress towards a few games. I've been working towards a few games, and there's a few things that have kind of come up, so I want to talk about all of those in this video. I don't know if there were any comments on the last video, but if there's any topics or anything that you guys want me to discuss in future trophy talks, you can leave them in the comments of this one, and I will cover them in the next video. So let me pull up the last video. And in the meantime, I will be talking about what I have been playing. So I haven't really been playing too much ever since it came out about 4 weeks ago. I've been playing exclusively RE8 Village, or RE Village, whatever you want to call it. I've been exclusively playing that, so it's been a lot of fun. I've been really enjoying the game. As you guys know, if you don't, I really loved RE7. It was one of my favorite games that came out that year. RE7 and Horizon were the two games that I absolutely loved that came out that year. But I was really looking forward to RE8. I remember it coming. I remember hearing stuff about RE8 when it originally came, or when they originally releasing information about it. I didn't realize like how soon it was actually going to come out. Now I did play the PS4 version, obviously, because your boy don't have a PS5 yet. But yeah, I've been playing this since I started on May 10th. The game came out on the 7th, so I started playing it. I believe it was like the Monday after it came out, because I think it came out on a Friday. Yeah, it came out on a Friday, and I started playing on the Monday after because I just wasn't home. So I had been playing it since then, and I really enjoyed the game. Now, a big topic that was coming up as I was streaming it. If you guys don't know, I do live stream all my platinum trophies, and when I'm playing other games and stuff over on Twitch. So if you want to follow me, there's a link for that down in the description below. I try to stream over there at a minimum 1 time a week, sometimes 2 times a week, or 3 times, just depending if I'm home or anything. But I was live streaming this, and a question that I kept getting over and over again, and I might have talked about this in the last trophy talk, and I'll kind of talk about it here, is, what game did you like more? Did you like RE7 or did you like RE8 more? And to be fair, it's kind of a hard question to ask, because it's kind of like asking, do you like apples more or do you like oranges more? And, they each have their own, they each have their own things that you like about them. But at the end of the day, they're both different games. They're both different types of games, where RE7 is a very, I would say, more realistic in the sense of like what's happening, realistic horror game that doesn't have too much combat, and really lives off of the environment that you're in. That's where it builds the fear and everything, is the environment that you're in, where RE8 is more of an action-packed game. I wouldn't say it's action-packed to the extent of RE5 or RE6, but it's definitely more of an action-packed game. And it's definitely a longer game. It feels longer than RE7, but it's just more interesting. It's more interesting in a way, and it doesn't make it better or worse than RE7, but it just has a lot of different aspects to the game that, RE7 really didn't have. RE7 was just a constant, game, and, you would progress through the levels and stuff, and you were being followed by, like, Jack in the house when you were in the main house, but, each of the boss fights were essentially the same thing when you think about it at the end of the day. You would go to a boss fight, there would be a glowy thing that you would have to shoot. You'd have to shoot it so many times, and then that boss would die. So they were structured around being the same kind of boss fights, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it just made the game feel like you were, essentially doing the same thing over and over and over again, just with a different boss. Which again isn't bad, because you would kind of hit your action in the boss fights, and then in between the boss fights you would go back to your environmental, like, horror stuff, which would make it which would give it that, like, edge, you could say. Whereas like RE8, each of the boss fights that you do are something completely different from one another. So when you're doing the first, and by the way, I'm going to probably be spoiling or talking about the story of the game. So if you haven't played it yet, I'm sorry. I'm not going to be able to put like timestamps. I guess I could put timestamps, but I'm not going to be talking about like anything like super in depth, but I will be talking about like the general story. So yeah. But so if you're not a fan of that, I'm sorry, just skip ahead until I stop talking about RE8. Um but like you get into the village and you're thrown right into action right away. You got to fight off these lichens and stuff right away. And then you're quote unquote saved, and then you head up to the castle. And in the process of heading up to the castle, there's a lot of shit that happens. And then when you get to the castle, it's a game of cat and mouse, like the original, like all RE games are, the game of cat and mouse between you, Lady D, and her daughters. So you're playing cat and mouse throughout the whole castle. And then eventually you fight Lady D, and that's just a typical fight, more or less. It's not typical in the fact of like RE where there's like glowing things that you need to shoot and you need to focus on. You kind of just shoot Lady D. So as long as you're like hitting her and the dragon, you'll kill her. So it's kind of like a very basic boss fight, but it's action. Okay, cool. It's kind of what we got from like RE7, more or less, with you know, more or less a basic boss fight. So then you leave Lady D, you go back, and then you head to Benevenito's house, where that's like strictly a mind game. Like there's no combat required when you get to the house. Everything's puzzles. You cannot rely on combat at all because you literally have no weapons, and you have to go through that like psychological terror that is in the house, the Benevenito house. So you do that whole thing, no combat, a lot of terror going on there, and that's by far the scariest part of the game and the creepiest part of the game. So then you go to the next part, which is when you fight Moreau. And when you fight Moreau, it's kind of like that happy medium that you would get from all of the other RE games. There's some puzzle solving going on. There's a little bit of, you know, edge on like being able to activate things and get places in time. And then the actual Moreau boss fight is, you know, textbook, shoot the thing that glows. Just shoot Moreau. Actually, there's nothing that really glows, but just shoot Moreau. There's some phases. That's what you got to worry about. Boom, kill him, dead. And then you go on to Heisenberg's factory. Well, before you go to Heisenberg's factory, you go to the Stronghold, which kind of eases you into more of a combat-centric gameplay style. And then when you actually get to Heisenberg's factory, it's all like combat. There's not really any horror when you get to the factory itself. I mean, I guess it's kind of creepy when the lights are off, but it's nothing in the fact of like what you were experiencing at the Benevenito house. And then when you finally fight Heisenberg, it's a huge action battle. And then when you fight Miranda, it's kind of like a textbook RE fight, different phases, worrying about shooting the boss and things like that. So it's cool that each section of the game feels like a completely different section, whereas RE7 was kind of like the same formula over and over again, which is completely fine. But again, these games, getting back to the main point, these games are just completely different games. You really can't say, you know, which one do you, you could say which one you like more than the other, but to me, I think it's hard to kind of pick, do you like RE7 more than RE8, because they're just completely different games. It's not fair to compare them because of what they are. Again, I love both of them. They're both phenomenal games. If you haven't played either one of them, I would highly suggest doing that. But I was having a lot of fun playing through the game. I'm going to be doing a how to platinum on the game. So if you guys are, you know, wanting to know how to do that, I'll be making a video on that soon. But I ended up doing 4 playthroughs of the game. I did an original normal playthrough. I then went back and did a hardcore playthrough, cleaned up some random trophies and collectibles or whatever I needed, and then also got a few of the New Game Plus trophies that you have to get, which like Lucky Number 7 or the Veteran Gunsmith or any of that. And then when I finished it up on the hardest or on the hardcore difficulty, the other reason for doing the second playthrough on the hardcore difficulty is you also want to grab as much currency as possible, lay as possible, because you want to buy and upgrade the Stake Magnum all the way, because then you can go to the extra content menu and buy unlimited ammo for the stake, which makes the Village of Shadows difficulty playthrough literally a piece of cake. And I would suggest to do that because you don't want to give yourself a headache. So then I went through playthrough on Village of Shadow difficulty. I was trying to do the speed run at the same time, but I tried to do that too late. and then I ended up, after I finished the Village of Shadows, I went through, did all of the mercenary maps on SS rank or above. I ended up doing all of them on SSS rank except 2. So doing them on SS rank unlocks the LZ Answerer, which is the lightsaber. There's a lightsaber in the game. And when you use the lightsaber, it makes the knife only playthrough so fucking easy. Like, so easy. Like, the easiest thing ever. So after I finished up the mercenaries mode, I then played back through the game a 4th time to do the speed run, the spending less than 10,000 lei, and then the knives out, which is to beat the game only using close combat weapons. So that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing the game. I don't really know how long it took me time-wise to get the platinum. I mean, probably like 40 hours. My first playthrough was approximately 10 hours. My second playthrough was probably 5 hours. I could go and check, but this is me guesstimating. I would say my second playthrough, maybe more than 5, maybe like 6 hours. And then the Village of Shadow was another 3-ish hours. So if we're rounding here, we're up to around 20 hours. The mercenaries mode probably took me around 8 to 10 hours. There's 8 maps there, and each one of them probably took me around an hour to get through. I did a lot of kind of sitting in the menus. Honestly, it's going to take you a little bit of time because you're going to have to do the first 4 one time at least a B rank, so you can unlock the extra 5,000 lei, and then you have to play through again and then kind of hope. And those are trial and error, right? That's what it comes down to. You kind of need to learn the way that enemies spawn. You need to kind of pay attention to make sure that you're not passing any enemies, because I've done that plenty of times. But with just a little bit of trial and error, you'll get through it. But I would say I would average for all of those maps, unless you're some sort of fucking superhuman freak that has some crazy ass memory, you're probably looking at around 30 minutes to an hour to get all of those done. So if we go on the higher side, that's another 8 hours. And then I did the speed run of 3 hours. So I don't know. Honestly, probably around 35 hours to get the platinum. I know that the math doesn't add up to 35, but if I'm rounding and being conservative, I would say around 35 to 40 hours to get the platinum. But it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed playing it. And I don't know. It's weird, man. I say this all the time, but when I'm playing through and I get a platinum in a game that I've invested so much time in, even though 40 hours isn't that much time, but when you've invested so much time and it's the only game you've been playing over the past few weeks, you kind of feel empty when you get a platinum. It's a really weird feeling. That's why I don't like going for all those easy peasy platinums, because it just takes away from actually the feeling of actually earning a platinum on a game that you've invested so much time into, and just the feeling of getting trophies done. So that's why I don't really like going for all those easy. I do it every once in a while, but I really don't like going for all those easy platinums for that reason. But after putting like 4 weeks into the game, again, I really wasn't playing that much for 2 weeks because of work. It was nice to get it done, and it was it was just nice. I didn't want it to end because I loved the game, but also it was nice to get it done because I do want to move on to other things, other games, and yeah, that's that. So I did get RE8 Village done. Glad to get it done. I have a whole, playlist of trophy guides and mercenaries walkthroughs and any of that stuff. So if you guys are having any issues with any of that, you can check the playlist on the channel and check out some of those guides. Full collectible guide. Anything and everything that you would need to get the platinum, it's there. Other than the How to Platinum video, which it will be coming out within the next month, probably, hopefully. But yeah, that's RE8 Village platinumed. It's nice. And then before I talk about the next game I've been playing, there's a few other games that I have been playing in the background. So the first one being, I did go back to Grid Autosport for a few hours and tried to grind through a few levels. So I was doing that. Another game that I started up that I haven't earned any trophies in, but I'm actually probably going to go and try to get done within the next week, is the DLC for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That did drop. I don't know exactly when that dropped, but I did download it and I started to play it a few days ago. So I'm going to go back to that, try to do that. There's probably going to be some trophy guides that I put out in that. But yeah, I went back to do the Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC and just kind of get that done. It was weird, man. I went back to AC Valhalla to start the DLC and to get it done. And I was like, as much as I played this game and as much as I ragged on it and I didn't really like it, at the end of the day, like, I'm having fun going back and playing it, which is kind of weird to say, but I'm having fun going back and playing it. So, getting through that DLC, I've probably only played around 2 to 4 hours, something in between there. Kind of hard for me to guess because sometimes I play it during the day, just, like an hour or so, or 30 minutes to an hour, like just in the middle of the day, in between when I'm like on a break at work or something. So it's kind of hard for me to add up exactly, but I would say probably around anywhere in between 2 to 4 hours. I've done a decent amount of the main story and done some exploration in the new location, but I'm having fun with it. I'm surprisingly having fun going back and playing it, and that's all that matters, right? That you have fun playing games. But yeah, I've been playing in the background Grid Autosport and AC Valhalla. And then after I got the RE8 Village Platinum, I did go back and start playing MLB 18 The Show, because I can basically get this platinum. I just need to play the Road to the Show. So that's what I've been doing. So I went back, I did Road to the Show and got the pitcher Road to the Show trophy. Now I'm working on the quote unquote batter Road to the Show trophy. One of them is a pain in the ass. I'm not going to cry, but I need to get I need to get called up to the MLB while in the manager's office. And then also I need to participate in a post-game interview after I hit my first MLB home run. So hopefully I will get this. And then right after I'll get this. And then their other trophies are kind of random. So breaking a bat while batting, hopefully I'll get that while I'm doing my batting Road to the Show. Also making a diving catch for an out. I could have gotten this trophy today, but I fucked up. But yeah, that one. And then the other ones are to create a custom play in a practice mode while batting, reach base on an intentional walk, complete a full 9-inning game using 2 legend teams without fast forwarding, equip any sponsor in franchise mode, manually take a trade with any team in franchise mode, draft the prospect in the first year in the draft franchise mode, and complete a retro mode game in the franchise without fast forwarding. So some pretty easy trophies here. I'll probably end up getting, back in my day, I'll probably end up getting last, but I'm having fun playing it. I did MLB 17 The Show a few weeks ago or a month ago or whatever, and now doing MLB 18 The Show, and just working through the show games. I'm having a lot of fun because I enjoy baseball, because I'm some sort of weirdo like that. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. Not too much, and or I guess I should say in the past few weeks. So what do I plan on playing in the upcoming week? So I want to try to get the MLB The Show 18 Platinum in the next week. That's kind of the goal. Again, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, finishing up that DLC. And then after I do the AC Valhalla DLC, I'm going to be focusing strictly on PlayStation 3 games. So not only multiplayer in PlayStation 3 games, but just PlayStation 3 games in general. So I know I did my last trophy talk was a month ago. It's been kind of a while, 4 weeks ago. I don't know if I mentioned in this or if I kind of brought this up, but I think I mentioned it in the in the last trophy talk, but I didn't make my mind up. So what I said was that what I'm going to do when it comes to kind of picking games that I want to play is I'm going to play down the line alphabetically on any PS3 games that are already on my list, or if they're part of a franchise. So for instance, Air Conflicts. I've done Air Conflicts Secret Wars on the PS3. I need to do Air Conflicts Vietnam on the PS3, so I would do that. Then I would move on to AVP and Aliens Colonial Marines. Now, someone made a comment on the last trophy talk saying that there is an Alien Isolation game on the PS3. Yes, I know that. Will I end up doing it? Probably not right now. At some point, maybe. It has no multiplayer, so I'm not worried about it, quote unquote, going down. But I want to do the 2 that are at least on my list at the moment. So I'll do AVP Colonial Marines, then Anarchy Rush Hour, then Assassin's Creed 4, and then Backbreaker. Then we'll get into the Batman games, and then Battlefield, and then we get down here to BioShock. And this is the first kind of roadblock that I'm hitting when it comes to a decision that I want to make. So what I was talking about, and I talked about this with Brian. Hold on, let me get a drink. I talked about this with Brian. The question that came up was, if I'm doing a franchise like BioShock, right, where I need to do the multiplayer for BioShock 2, 100% agree that I need to do the multiplayer for BioShock 2. But do I then do BioShock 1, BioShock 2, and BioShock Infinite all in the PS3 before moving on? And part of me was saying, nah, don't worry about it. Just finish up the game that's already on your list. Then part of me was saying, no, I should just do it, right? Like, I want to do my PS3 games. If I'm going to do the second game in the franchise, I might as well do the first one, the second one, and then the third one, back to back to back, just to get it done. So I think I'm going to end up doing all of them. So I'm going to focus on doing the multiplayer for BioShock 2, right? But when I get around to doing BioShock, I'm going to do BioShock 1, then BioShock 2, and then BioShock Infinite. So I'm just going to do them all back to back to back. And it may take a decent amount of time, but it is what it is. I think it's a good way of going about it. I do want to do all of my PlayStation 3 games that that are on my list. And then my goal for that, after I do all of those, which is going to be hundreds of games, after I do all the PlayStation 3 games that are on my list, then I want to go back and then play through all my PlayStation 3 games that aren't on my list. So I have a lot of games that I want to get through, but I do want to kind of focus on the PS3 because who knows when it's going to go down. There's already been, so I haven't talked about this yet, but there's a post that was made that some Need for Speed games on the PS3 are going to be going down. Need for Speed, Shift 2, Undercover, and The Run are all going to go down on the PS3. With that being said, this is actually reminding myself, I think I'm going to focus on going for these platinums before I go for the next game that I was going to do on my PS3. So, yeah, that's going to be my focus probably. But they have DLC. I don't know if the DLC got delisted, but apparently Shift 1 has been having some issues with the DLC online trophies, and apparently EA has said they're going to look into it. I have faith that EA will fix it before the servers go down. The servers are supposed to go down in August, so I would advise to do these sooner rather than later. They're all pretty easy games. Undercover is trash to play, and the multiplayer is a pain in the ass, but it's really not a difficult game. The only one out of them that sucks is probably Shift 2. You can't do the run unless you got the King of the Hill trophy, so that kind of sucks. But yeah, the Shift 1 technically doesn't have multiplayer in the base game, but it's easier to get some of the badges, the multiplayer badges, because if I'm not mistaken, I think you have to unlock like a certain amount of badges in the game for a trophy. Yeah, you have to earn 20 epic badges, and there's some badges online that are easier to get than just, doing some of the single player badges. So and then there's one trophy. There's literally one trophy online. It's this Exotica, which is to complete an online race or time attack in all of the exotic vehicles. The trophy hasn't been earned since June 2nd, but apparently EA is going to be fixing this, so hopefully that's okay. But we'll wait and see. I'm probably going to end up hopping on Shift within the next few days just to kind of get my bearings and kind of figure out what's going on. But I am going to be focusing on those games before I focus on the next game, which I'm not sure if I talked about, so I'm not going to say anything. But yeah, I'll be doing MLB 18 the show, which I probably won't focus on too much because unless I'm like over the weekend. And then I'll be doing Assassin's Creed Valhalla mainly right now, and then after that I'm probably going to hop over and do Shift 2 and The Run. I'll probably end up doing Shift, The Run, and then Shift 2. I'll be saving the worst for last, but I think it'll definitely be worth it. I also did already do the multiplayer for Shift 2, other than I believe it's again called King of the Hill, other than the King of the Hill trophy, which I'm not really worried about. But yeah, I did the online for all the DLCs. So literally all I need to do for the online for this game is technically the King of the Hill trophy and then playing online for 10 hours in total. So doing those two, and then the rest is just kind of playing the game. But again, I'm not too worried about it. I know that there's some, you have to master every location and then master every location at night and things like that. But I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried when it comes to like the skill side. It's just getting the multiplayer done. But yeah, that's going to give me, honestly, if I do that, it's going to give me peace of mind because then I'll have all of the PS3 Need for Speeds done other than Rivals if I want to do it. But I'm not sure if I do. But it'll get me done Undercover, Shift, Hot Pursuit, Shift 2, The Run. I've done Most Wanted already. I did the DLC for The Run. So literally all I have to do for The Run is I never even beat the single player. But basically finish beating the single player, then beat it on Extreme, and then do all the challenges, and then that will give me level 30. So it's pretty easy, but I just need to go and do it. And then, yeah, that'll give me all the PS3 ones done. Again, other than Rivals, if I want to do Rivals. I'm probably going to end up doing Rivals on the PS3 because I'm probably going to do Most Wanted on the Vita because, why the fuck not? But, we'll see. I love Most Wanted 2012, so if I can play it again, I will play it again because I had a lot of fun playing it. But that will come with time. We'll figure out what happens. But yeah, that's going to be my focus on the PS3, and then I have a few other games I'm going to play. Actually, I don't have a few. I think I do have one other game that I'm going to play single player wise because I've been saying I've wanted to do it for like 5 years now. So I'm going to finally go back and do it. And then after that, I'm going to start playing through alphabetically. I may actually do 2 games because, well, I can give away one of them. One of them is going to be MotoGP 1011 just because that game has some multiplayer that I need to finish. I've done the multiplayer for 910 and I platinumed it, but 1011 has another multiplayer trophy that I need to finish, which I don't really know where it is. But yes, I need to finish it. Hold on. Yeah, it's this one. Win 21 races online. So I just have to do that. As you can see, people have been earning it, and people earned it in May. It's not a very, well-earned trophy, but I have 2 copies of the game, so I just got to literally hop on and play it. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing that very soon. And then, again, Grid Autosport kind of when I can, and then there may be some other games that come up here and there, but I'm going to be focusing mainly on the PS3. I've been saying that for months, but, like, literally now I'm going to be focusing on it because I stopped because of RE8, which is fine. I want to play what games I want to play. I don't want to force myself to not, but once I get done a few games, I'm going to be going over to the PS3. So, let's get over to the topics of the last trophy talk. I remember looking at these, but these are going to kind of be fresh to my eyes. So hopefully I don't screw anything up. So, first comments from NCS fan. He says, would definitely recommend doing some single player cleanup when you need a break from the multiplayer. I've got only 13 incomplete games left on my list and 11 have progress to be made. So that's great. Yeah, I would always advise that. It's hard to mainly do multiplayer. It's nice to mainly do multiplayer when you can, self-boost it. I don't think there's a problem with that, but I went hard into Grid Autosport when I first started, and I'm about 2/5 of the way done the game, and it's just like, I'm not burnt out from it, but like, I'm like, all right, maybe this is a little crazy. I mean, I'm going to get it done. Don't get me wrong. But like, I'm like, maybe this is a little crazier than I thought it was going to be, but it's a work in progress. But yeah, I would highly suggest to mix things up and do single player and get games done. I'm really hoping to again, me going through and doing all these PS3 games on my list is really going to clean my list up. It's going to help my completion percentage. I'm not a person that really cares too much about numbers when it comes down to it at the end of the day, but I think really seeing that completion percentage rise and getting games completed is a very satisfying feeling as a trophy hunter. So, yeah. Then we have a comment from Brandon Duncan saying that's a perfect example of explaining the game. I believe I was talking about Resident Evil 7 to Resident Evil 8 and the differences. And I believe I was saying like RE7 is scary because it's something that could realistically happen, where RE8 is kind of like a fantasy horror in a way, if that makes sense. They're both like completely, they both would never happen, but at least RE7 was more of like, this could happen possibly, but probably not, but it could. But like, it wouldn't, but like maybe it could happen. When RE8's just like, yeah, like there's no shot this is ever going to happen, any of this, like, but it's still creepy. Then up next, we have Gaming Boy 79. Keep up the good work with these trophy talks. I always use these videos as motivation to clean up my list. Makes it 10 times harder for me to clean up, as I recently became a cross-platform achievement hunter using the Exophase website. Yeah, that is difficult. I'm glad that I can help motivate to clean stuff up. I know sometimes I'm not the most motivational person because I don't clean my own stuff up, but I do try. I do try. As you can see, my completion percentage in the past few days has actually gone over 60%, which I don't think I've done that for, a few months. So I do try. I do try sometimes. But yeah, I could definitely see cross-platform achievement hunting being like a little crazy. Years ago, I debated if I wanted to actually achievement hunt just because the Xbox, getting like an Xbox 360 was cheap. The Xbox has a lot of games backwards compatible and everything that have achievements that I would love to go for with servers that are still up. But at the end of the day, I was like, I put so much time into trophy hunting, and like I truly do like Sony and PlayStation more than Microsoft and Xbox, that I'm just gonna stick where I am. And the other thing is, it's not only just the playing on a console that you're happy with, but it's also the fact of like, there's nothing that when it comes to achievement hunting, like Steam achievements or Xbox achievements, there's nothing that compares to the Platinum Trophy. Yeah, you can 1000G stuff, but like there's no other achievement that is the Platinum Trophy. So, having that Platinum Trophy is just another level compared to, Steam or Xbox achievement hunting. So, yeah. I'm glad I can motivate. I'm trying to motivate myself, but I'm really glad I can. Next comment we have is from Hannibal 9090. Funny story, when I was going for the Watch Dogs tailing trophies, I went to Twitch and found a guy playing Watch Dogs with like 3 people watching his stream. I asked it nicely if I could tail him 10 times, and he was more than happy to do it. I subbed to his channel in return. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. I was having issues with Watch Dogs on the PS3 because apparently you can't tail people. You can't tail people on your friends list or something stupid like that. You can't tail or hack people on your friends list for it to count towards a trophy. So you actually have to do it to random people. Kind of sucks. I don't know if the PS4 was different, but the PS3 one sucked because you couldn't do it with people on your friends list. But you know, it is what it is. Then we have a comment from XOXO. I would just get PS3 stuff done so you can focus on the newer generation. I just did most of my base game trophies for Trials Fusion. Are you planning on doing Trials Fusion sometime in the future? It's already on your list and it's a fucking 10 out of 10. So yeah, I am focusing on doing PS3 stuff. Obviously, I haven't been doing that in the past month, but yes, I do focus on, or I do plan on focusing on just PS3 stuff over the summer and into the future. And on the answer of Trials Fusion, do I ever want to go and try to platinum Trials Fusion or 100% Trials Fusion because it doesn't have platinum? At some point, maybe I may put some time into it and kind of figure out how to do it because I know that there's a lot of other Trials games, but I'm not sure. That's a game that requires a lot of time and skill to kind of get into, and I probably have the skill, but I don't know if I have the time. So I don't know. We'll wait to see. Maybe at some point, but not anywhere in the near future do I plan on doing it. But yeah, I'm trying to focus on PS3 stuff. Then up next we have GMZ here. So the reason I am against stacking, as for me or maybe most of us trophy hunters, is we have a huge backlog that we may die before we finish it. True. So playing the same game over and over again while there are hundreds of other good games is why we haven't played yet, is kind of a waste of time. And let's be honest, there are people, let's be honest, have people stacked because of trophies. If you really love games so much, does it have a stacked platinum? Would you play it again? Fair enough. I don't like to see my trophy list in my eyes. You don't like to see stacks on your trophy list in your eyes because they don't look nice. Wow. Can I talk? It's partially because I did, just take some melatonin gummies before I started this, so I'm like half falling asleep. I'm against it, but at the same time, nothing wrong with it unless you stack a shit game 6 or 10 times. Yeah, so I completely agree with you shouldn't stack shit games. I also completely agree that you shouldn't really stack games when you have a shit ton going on in your backlog. That's why I haven't really stacked games recently, because like you said, when you have so many games in your backlog that you have to do or that you want to do, it doesn't really make sense to, to get into that. You should focus more on your backlog, right? Like you should really focus more on your backlog is what it comes down to. So I would completely agree with you that, you shouldn't really stack games if you have stuff in your backlog that needs to be done, that really needs to be done, because that's the stuff that matters. Getting that backlog done is kind of what matters at the end of the day. So I really would focus on that. And I don't know. It goes all ways, right? Because if you're playing a game that you really absolutely love and you want to play it again and get trophies, I think that that's fine. I've always said that that's fine. But again, the whole backlog thing does just reiterate that, like, you should focus on the backlog if you really want to get it done. As of the question of would you play a game again if it didn't have a stack? Yes, I would. Would I play it as soon as I would a game if it did have trophies? I don't know. It's hard because I do agree with the whole point of not playing a game over and over again if you have a lot of other backlog stuff to do. So, again, that's why I haven't stacked. Like, there's so many games I want to do, like the Assassin's Creed games, or there's a few games that I have stacked. The Air Conflicts games are on here because of multiplayer. Assassin's Creed is on here because of multiplayer, but I'm gonna end up doing it. I'm trying to see if there's any, like Burnout Paradise, again, multiplayer. Deformers multiplayer. Drawn to Death multiplayer. Do we see a trend here? But FF15, if you want to count it, multiplayer. Grand Theft Auto 5, multiplayer to an extent. Um Killzone 3 multiplayer. So I mean, for me, it's mainly multiplayer. I think the only thing that wasn't multiplayer that I played again and stacked, well, and it did come down to multiplayer actually, was Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor. Um, because of that, there was a few trophies that they were talking about. So, and Minecraft, I guess. I don't know. There are definitely are games that I've stacked, and I'm not embarrassed of it, but um, the reason I haven't stacked more is because of the time. Because I agree, if you play a game one time, do you really need to play it again right away? Unless it's like your absolute favorite game. So it is what it is. Like at some point, I do want to go and I do want to play RE8 again when I get a PS5. But am I going to do it the second I get a PS5? No, no way in hell. But yeah. Then we have Brian. Put all the PS3 games in a list and do the random number generator and just go down the list alphabetically. That or you said or just go down. I would do the random number generator, but the thing is I haven't updated my list in a while, so kind of hard for me to do that at the moment, but it would be a good thing to do. But I think I'm just going to do alphabetical for what's on my list and then go back and do alphabetical for stuff that isn't on my list and just do it that way. And then last comments from JMG or JGM, JMG. I'm stupid. JGM. I'd start with games that have exploits that were patched out but still doable without updating, like Yokozuna and Sonic the All-Stars Racing Transform, the Foam Finger Gun exploit in Dead Space 3 that makes playthrough 3 to 4 trivial, or the DNF exploit for WRC 5 that cuts your plat time by a few hours, in case the hamster power on the PS3 patch servers dies again, because it will save a lot of frustration in the long run. Yeah, I mean, I don't see... So I didn't mention this in the trophy talk, but about a week ago, there was an update that was put out for the PS3. Don't know why the fuck that happened, but with that being said and that being done, I don't see the PS3 dying anytime soon. So, and I don't see the patches or any of that stuff being a problem anytime soon. I think that has kind of been resolved. To an extent, I think that has been resolved and it won't be an issue. I'm more worried about games at this point breaking more than anything going down. For instance, Need for Speed Shift. There's a and I don't know why this happens. Can someone explain to me why this has happened so many fucking times that there's 2 games right now this is happening with, and I don't understand it. There's a hard date that's put out to these servers are going to be shut down, right? So Need for Speed Shift. Game gets delisted out of nowhere, okay? Fair enough. A little bit annoying, but fair enough. You can still go out and buy the game physically if you want to, so it's not the end of the world. Game gets delisted. Cool. They give a hard date for the servers are going to be shut down. August, whatever. Servers down. Game not playable. Auto log stuff out the fucking window. Gotta do it before August. Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna get to it. And then you get to it, and the game's fucking broken. You get to it, you can't connect to people. Like, okay, you're saying the servers are down. They were fine last week. You put an announcement out that servers are down, and now the game's fucking broken. Like, what did you do? Did you unplug it from this server and plug it into this server that hasn't run in 5 years? Like, why is there issues? There was no issues a week ago. You put an announcement out, there's issues. Now, there's another game right now that's having issues that I don't know if it'll be resolved before it goes down, but there's a game going down in August called Operation 7 Showdown, and apparently there's been issues with connecting. It's a PS4 game. I think this was something that recently started to happen. Like, again, the game got delisted on June 1st. So the game got delisted 1 week ago from today, because today is the 8th. The game got delisted 1 week ago from today, and now it's having server issues. Like, what are you people doing? Are you like delisting the game and then fucking and then like saying, well, plug this server into like that hamster wheel over there and pray that it works? I don't get what's happening. So I don't know what's gonna happen. Let me look it up real quick. I don't know what's gonna end up happening with Operation 7 Showdown because it was something that I wanted to do. There's people saying that the servers are dead. I don't know if that's fucking true. I did Operation Flash or Operation 7, whatever the fuck it was called, Revolution. Um, so this game, someone made a comment about this on Sunday saying that they were trying to get into a game and finish it, and the servers kept searching endlessly. It kept saying failed to find match, and despite both of us searching at the same map at the same time, not even canceling the search works sometimes. So you're forced to either quit the game or wait till it slaps you with an error. The only thing that works at this moment is buying stuff like extending weapon renting with the multiplayers. And then there's people going on saying like F this game, whatever. It's not even August, and they're doing all this stuff. So there's people that are keeping up on this, and then there's people saying that it's still down as of recently. So yeah, I don't really know what to say. It's a little bit annoying. I don't get why you put a date down that you're going to shut the servers down, and then there's errors before it even goes down. So I don't know what's going to happen with Operation 7. I have faith that EA will fix Shift before it goes down, because I think they did that recently with another game. Let me go down my list. What game was it? I don't know if it was EA, but there was a game that went down recently, and it was going to go down, and then they were having issues, and then the company ended up fixing it right before it went down. And yeah, I don't remember what it was. And it wasn't Far Cry 2. I don't fucking know. I don't know. It was something though. Oh, also, Little Big Planet 2 is again having issues. The servers got DDoSed again, so that's fucking cool. I was actually gonna go and do that game soon, and then yeah, that happened. So they said that they're gonna fix it. If they do, I don't know. Hopefully they do, because I'll go back and finish it. But you know, it is what it is. But that's having issues. I don't know what's going on with BS3. It's almost like it's like folding in on itself, but I don't understand how it can. Like, I guess you need maintenance for stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand that, but like, I didn't think things just like stop working. You know what I mean? Like, my computer just doesn't like one day my computer just doesn't say like I don't feel like opening, you know, Google Chrome today. Like, no, there's a fucking reason for why like it happens. So like, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. There has to be some manipulation going on behind the scenes for these games when they say servers are going to go down, but it honestly beats me. It beats me. But anyway, that's going to be this week for the Trophy Talk. Thank you guys for stopping by. I thought this would be a quick one, but it turns out it's not going to be. So that's pretty interesting. I, again, am, you know, tired out of my mind because on purpose, but yeah, thank you guys for stopping by. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, topics that you want me to discuss in the next Trophy Talk, which again, I'm going to try to do weekly, bi-weekly at the latest, but I need to make progress in games. You can leave it in the comments below of this video. I will talk about it in the next Trophy Talk. I want to thank you guys all for watching, subscribing, listening, and all that. I really appreciate all the support. And if you've made it this far, if you enjoyed the video, give it a like. If you made it this far and you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing for more content like this. If you haven't already, there's a link to a podcast that I do weekly with a few guys. That's going to be linked down in the description below, the Rogue Hunters podcast. So if you want to go subscribe over there, would greatly appreciate it. Can just be some more background noise for you to listen to when you're boosting games or doing whatever you're doing. But again, I appreciate all the support with everything recently. I really do. And again, if you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing for more trophy content like this. And I hope to see you guys all around sometime soon.